Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are venturing into, well, a really fascinating philosophical and astrological puzzle.
It's a great one. We've got this remarkable stack of material all for December 13th, 2025.
And the core question is, how do you dive into the deepest, most necessary truths without being crushed by the weight of what you find?
Exactly. And what's so compelling here is that the source, Tarot by High C, gives us both the astrological chart and this philosophical story scope.
Which turns these abstract psychological ideas into, well, actual physical laws. It's incredible.
It really is.
So our mission in this deep dive is to explore the material's central thesis, which feels pretty radical, that depth and lightness aren't opposites.
They're interdependent, two sides of the same coin.
We're going to look at the physics of honesty and see how the cosmos and our own minds sort of conspire to demand this brutal excavation of truth.
But, and this is the key, it also provides the way back out, the mechanism to resurface and find that connection and beauty again. It's a complete system.
Okay, so let's nail down that central discipline right away, because it really feels like the structure that holds this entire thing together.
It is. The sources are very emphatic. When intensity comes up, the key is not to avoid it.
Right, you can't run from the truth. But critically, and I love this phrasing, you can't marinate in it longer than necessary.
That's the phrase, the discipline of release. It's essential. You have to dig deep, you have to speak what's true, which can feel heavy.
Of course.
But then you have to execute a deliberate return to the surface. It's an intentional practice, not just something that happens.
But I have to ask, if you've just spent the morning uncovering some, I don't know, fossilized layer of self-deception,
Yeah.
how do you genuinely flip that switch?
That's the crucial question.
The source claims we can speak brutal truths in the morning and still make room for laughter and beauty by evening. Does the pain just vanish?
It doesn't vanish, but the sources anticipate this. The answer is in the dynamic interplay of the energies that are available. The reason it doesn't have to linger is that the cosmos provides a counterbalance, a pullback to the light. And we see that in the Libra moon sextile Venus aspect.
Okay, so that's the structural integrity. That's what keeps the whole thing from collapsing in on itself.
Exactly. This is the energy of lightness, of balance. It's all about ease and beauty in the relational sphere.
It's the simple, soothing warmth.
Yes, the kind gestures. It's this cosmic reminder that, intimacy and depth don't always have to be a struggle.
So this is basically our permission slip to let connection be light and playful again.
Yes. You actively seek out aesthetics and harmony to soothe what felt raw from that deep dive. It's the counterweight.
It stops the death work from just becoming this oppressive, isolating thing.
Think of it like decompression.
Yeah.
You can't live permanently at the bottom of the emotional ocean. This Libra moon and Venus influence helps us pivot back to graciousness.
Okay, that gives us the mechanism for resurfacing. Now let's dive back down. Let's talk about the engine that drives the excavation itself.
The Mercury sextile Pluto alignment.
And this is where we shift from the metaphorical weight of truth to something truly dense.
This is the aspect that introduces the fundamental premise of the entire StoryScope.
Which is?
That thoughts have literal weight.
That is such a powerful idea. And under Pluto's influence, the mind isn't just, processing things. It's operating as an excavator.
Capable of tunneling into what's buried, what's hidden, what's just too uncomfortable to name.
The source says the insights that come up land like truth arrows.
And this alignment supports any kind of investigation, intellectual, psychological. It helps us see through the nonsense instantly.
And when you connect that deep thought to Pluto's power, to its resolve,
Yeah.
it becomes actionable. You can make real, permanent decisions.
Which is why conversations under this influence feel so intense. But they're necessary. They reveal the hidden power dynamics, the unspoken agreements.
You fossilize patterns.
Exactly. The bluntness here is transformative. I mean, assuming it's met with maturity, it just strips away all the polite cushioning we normally use.
So now we take that abstract idea, thoughts having weight, and we move into the StoryScope, where it becomes a physical, measurable reality.
Yes. The story starts in, and I quote, "the year the cities stopped lying to themselves."
And this wasn't some magical overnight thing, right? It started subtly.
Very subtly. With physical symptoms, people getting intense pressure headaches when they were avoiding a thought. Secrets were literally causing migraines.
And then they finally calibrated the instruments and confirmed the unthinkable.
Cognition had density. The whole landscape of the mind wasn't airy and intangible. It was geological.
But the really shocking discovery was the hierarchy of that weight. We all kind of assume truth is light, lies are heavy, and that was true.
Right, a conscious lie carried more density than a truth. But that was not the heaviest substance they measured.
And this is where it gets really unsettling. The heaviest substance ever measured was denial.
Denial. Not a lie you tell someone else, but the active refusal to see what you already know internally.
Think about that. I mean, the energy required to actively maintain self-deception, to look away from the facts of your own motivation, it generates a crushing density.
It suggests that being intellectually dishonest with yourself is the single greatest burden you can possibly carry.
It makes sense, though. A lie, you just have to maintain it. But denial, that requires constant, heavy pressure to hold reality at bay.
And if you accept that physics, then the architecture for seeking truth becomes absolutely vital. You can't do this work casually.
Which is why the StoryScope introduces the excavation chambers.
Build deep underground. Because if mines are generating geological level pressure, you need subterranean infrastructure to drill into them without causing a collapse.
And the person running the machine, the excavator, their job description is fascinating. It's not therapist, not interrogator.
No, they're not there to judge or diagnose. They are just there to drill, to expose.
To dig up what's been buried for so long that it has literally fossilized.
Mm-hmm.
Motives, private bargains people made with themselves years ago.
And the technology is amazing. A lattice of black light wraps around the skull, and it maps the gravitational pull of each idea.
And the dense spots, the psychological knots, they glowed like buried ore.
The tech was so precise it could even tell you which glow was the oldest lie. That was the bedrock of the whole internal structure.
And we see the full impact of this in the case study of Mara.
Ah, Mara. She's the ultimate paradox, a famous public advocate, celebrated reformer.
And her speeches, her public self, were light as air, hopeful, clean, buoyant. She was the picture of lightness.
But internally, her mind weighed a ton, a walking structural contradiction.
So the excavator starts with the obvious question, tell me what you're afraid of.
And she gives her rehearsed public answer, the one she's probably given in 100 speeches. I'm afraid of losing what we've built.
And the rig?
An immediate, heavy falsehood. The pressure just pulses. The system bypasses the polite answers instantly.
So it drives deeper, past the script. And the truth arrow lands on the first real layer.
She was afraid that if people knew why she started her mission, her original selfish motives, they wouldn't follow her now.
The weight shifts a little. It gets lighter, because this is a known secret.
But the system has to go deeper. It starts stripping away the political stuff, surfacing all these hidden power dynamics.
Who she protected to keep them quiet, who she silenced.
And crucially, which crises she allowed to burn because they made her position as the necessary reformer even stronger.
That reveals a deep transactional reality, the price of power. The excavator confronts her directly. You used them. And Mara admits it. Yes. And they used me. That was the agreement. This intense, unspoken contract of leadership.
But the drilling doesn't stop there.
No. The machine cracks open the deepest, heaviest layer, and it reveals something that wasn't illegal, but the source calls it something worse.
That distinction is so important. What could possibly be heavier, more corrupting than illegal acts or conscious deception?
It was enjoyment.
Enjoyment. Not enjoying the good her work did. Enjoying the control. The necessity. She liked being the one everyone needed when the world felt too heavy.
So it wasn't about survival. It was self-gratification masked as destiny.
That was the deepest, most dense ore. That psychological corruption. The genuine pleasure in being indispensable and manipulative.
And why is that motive, enjoyment, the heaviest layer?
Because the denial attached to it is total. If it was just about survival, you can forgive that. But admitting you enjoyed the control, that shatters the entire public narrative she built about being an altruist.
Right. It forces her to reckon with the difference between, well, structural mass and just crushing density.
And after that revelation, there's this thick silence. And the excavator offers the final choice, the ultimate question of this whole deep dive.
Do you carry this truth, or do you let it crush you?
That is the moment of resolve. The system disengages, the weight disperses, redistributed into something survivable.
And we see that resolve has mass too, but it's structural. It holds things up, it doesn't crush them.
And that's the payoff of the whole thing. Mara's response, after all of that, is a genuine laugh. She says, I thought honesty would feel like dying.
And the excavator's reply just summarizes the entire thesis of the day. It feels like resurfacing. Different thing entirely.
It's the release of all that gravitational pressure.
And to tie this all back to the beginning, while Mara is going through this profound subterranean transformation.
The city above just continues on. The neon markets, the street musicians, love, art. It's all indifferent to her excavation. The lightness is still available.
It just reinforces that duality. You have to do the deep dive, but you have to embrace the discipline, dig deep, say what you need to say, and then stop the drill.
Don't let your honest thoughts become inert, crushing matter. Thoughts are meant to move.
So as you, the listener, integrate this deep dive, remember those twin lessons.
The intense, truthful excavation from Mercury sextile Pluto and the StoryScope has to be actively balanced by the ease and connection promised by the Libra moon sextile Venus.
The intensity gives you the structural integrity, and the lightness gives you the reason to keep building in the first place. You need both.
And here's the provocative thought we'll leave you with, straight from the source material. Something to contemplate as you approach your own hidden motives.
The world feels lighter when the truth finally surfaces.
Not because the truth is easy, but because it's no longer buried, pressing down from below.
That buried mass of denial is what slows everything down. Bring it to the light, find that structural resolve, and the pressure is relieved. A profound thought to carry with you. Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.
We'll see you next time.